What's up, guys? Welcome back to Off the Record podcast with Rehner and Natalie Ortiz. We are happy to come on back to you guys another week. We got even more news for you because, of course, there's always something happening in the headlines. So we gotta talk to you guys about it. Oh, I just realized I got my glasses on.
We'll take those shits off.
Right, because I don't want there to be, actually, but there's no light reflecting back.
That's right.
So let's put these glasses back off because I can barely see.
I would offer to take mine off, but I can't see.
So welcome on back to the podcast. We're going to be diving into current events, like on all fronts, you know. I'm going to try and hit a lot of like the US stuff that's going on right now, tariffs and all that kind of stuff. And then we're going to dive into like some more lighthearted stuff, guys. Like we're going to chill out with some celebrity news. And
there's a lot of celebrity news going on right now too.
There is.
Interesting.
And I want to kind of try and balance the vibes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not do a whole lot of doomsday shit. But we'll get to there. We'll get there. But anyway, welcome on back. And I just came back from being out of town. So we missed like one of our podcast usual days because we wanted to take a break.
Yeah, we deserve breaks.
Hello.
Again, we both have full-time jobs outside of this. And I have school and Ava and all this bullshit.
We got lives.
But that she's bullshit. But yeah, so we're allowing ourselves to take more breaks this go around. If you guys know us from Barbie S, then we didn't really take breaks unless it was like forced, really.
Yeah,
unless it was like
dire situation, and then we would.
But we would just power through, and obviously it didn't work out the best. So we're trying to give ourselves space and time to create content because we don't want to make content that's like forced either.
Right.
So I feel like having breaks makes us excited to like come back and like get back into it and all that stuff. And, you know, we have a lot of shit to say. So,
exactly.
Thanks for being here. But how was Jamaica, motherfucker? This bitch, it was her birthday.
It was.
We still have to go out and celebrate your birthday.
I still do. Is that like I feel like I'm still feeling a little bit selfish. I still want to like hang out with my people.
Yeah, no,
you know,
because
that I didn't get to have my moment on my birthday with.
Yeah, because you had your friends out there. And then we need to do something for you here as well. So
I agree.
Also, if I look orange, I went to a pottery class with that had red clay.
I love it though. She's so like earthy and connected and
they're gonna be like, she's white, it's tan. Which, yes, I did also do that this morning. But I exfoliated. So that other stuff, this is the clay.
Yeah. That sounds fun. That sounds so cute too. I want to go to that as well.
Yeah, I want you to come too. It was fun.
All right, guys. Well, we'll get more into crazy shit. I mean, like, honestly, I had a great time. I guess I could try and think of like a crazy girl story that we had that the other girls won't mind me discussing. So,
yeah, that's key, right? You're like, what do they not care about our 50 listeners?
Exactly.
Knowing about.
Exactly. But watch, like, if we finally get a little bit of little something.
Everyone's gonna rewatch this shit.
Well, I'm hoping that it'll just be like so far down in the queue, they'll be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
When did you talk about Jamaica? Yeah. I didn't. I never did.
No. What happens in Jamaica stays in Jamaica, baby.
That's what they kept telling me. All the Jamaican men. All of them trying to hit off.
Because they know you look too good to be single out here. They're like, we know she has a man back at home.
Yo.
They're like, so they're trying, they prep you with that. They lube you up with that.
Yo, so I kept telling these Jamaican men, like, I do have a man, but they kept being like, you never had a man.
But not a husband.
Yeah.
But not a husband.
Yeah, one of them was like, so you ain't got no kids? And he was so young. He was like 22. And I'm like, no, I don't have any kids. And he's like,
do you want
why? He's like, yeah, he's like, those men must be crazy. And I'm like, oh, so you into trapping girlies. Okay.
That's what I was saying. I was like, he wants to impregnate you.
Crazy ass. Honestly, that was the vibe from a lot of the Jamaican men. They were just like ready for anything, whenever. And I would talk to them and I was just like, what if you do sleep with one of these women who are on vacation? They hit you up later about like, you're the baby daddy. What are you saying?
He's like, I get to go to America.
I
guess I gotta move.
The vibe was kind of that because they were all like, you know, kind of like the whole like everything Irie. Like they kind of were just like, it would be my time. For what? For what? What are you talking about? So yeah, that shit was so funny. But I had a great time, amazing time. One of the best birthdays I ever had.
That's great.
So yeah, gotta do it.
We don't have many more. Just kidding.
Ain't that the fucking truth?
I'm just kidding.
All right, so now that we've gotten done with our little cute little emotional moment, we were so cute. Okay, so now we're gonna get into the news. Cause dude, I can't lie to you, I was in Jamaica and like when I finally had connection, cause y'all, I fucked that up. I did not do the international plan. I was bugging out. First day, I couldn't even connect to the hotel's Wi-Fi because it kept telling me it was the wrong password. It was just annoying.
They were like, we wanted you to unplug.
Literally, and it really worked very well. When I finally got my shit to work, one of the first things I saw on social media were Trump's tariffs to China, which I knew were going to go into effect when I was leaving town. But it was mainly like seeing the headlines of being like, oh, it went to 10%. Then something was like 125%. And I was like, wait, what just happened? And you know how you're just like, do I have like the mental capacity or like the bandwidth right now to really sit down and try to understand the state of fucked up we're in right now? Not really.
I feel like the answer is always no. Nowadays, the answer is it's always no. I don't think I could ever.
Damn near. At least when you first see it, you're like, let me just let that simmer a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I'm fully digesting it. So yeah, when I first saw it, I was like, I can't do this right now. Like,
it's like when you're like, you're alone. So you're alone in your house and you're like doing something and you hear a sound and you're like, I'm just gonna ignore that because I don't want to have to think about what that possibly could be.
Yes. Then
is there an intruder?
I'm looking everywhere.
I'm imagining things. That's literally like when you see news shit, you're like, nah.
Now if I hear some break in the kitchen.
All right, yeah. Now, but it's gonna
out the window.
No. It's like the paranormal activity movies, but like the ones that the Wayans brothers make.
Yeah.
And it's like they're just ignoring cups flying off the shit and they're just like
Anyhow,
that's how you have to be though now to not let this shit get to you. You just gotta let this shit slide off the table and you're like,
dude. And
I didn't need coffee today. I was actually trying to detox. Actually.
Fuck that. Exactly. Fuck that fucking mug. I always
perfect.
That
I'll
one.
drink some more water. I'll hydrate.
That's literally how it felt. So I was just like, you know what? I'm in Jamaica. I'm on Jamaican time.
Yeah.
What's happening in the U.S., we will just figure it out when we get back to the U.S.
Out of sight, out of mind. 100%.
Period. But when I tell you, it just seemed like shit was just falling apart. It sounded crazy. So, okay. So basically, Trump's tariffs have been going into effect. I guess like they were supposed to be going into effect. And so it really has shaken everyone up. I mean, like economists all over, not just in America, but globally, are saying that this is disastrous. So if you don't know what's happening, this is basically what happened. So Trump issued a sweeping executive order imposing a 10% baseline tariff on nearly all imports with higher rates on key trade partners. Okay, so one of those key trade partners is China. Now, China got hit with the hardest one with up to 145%.
What the fuck does that even, like, what is that, like?
You're gonna end up
How do you
spending...
go over 100%? That's I don't understand that. So, does that mean that, let's say if something was $2, does 100% tariff mean that then it's 4, right?
I believe so. So yeah,
it would be more. So you're like more than doubling the cost.
Yeah. So we'll say like, okay, so we're gonna do 100 and what is this? This is 145%. What's 145 in percentages? Like that's like a not like 1.45.
I think
times 1.45. Now you are spending 2.9
more on top
of
the original price, right? So 4.9, so you're
plus 2. So you're now spending 4.9, almost $5
on something that would cost you
$2 originally. So yeah, almost making it almost like, you know, $3 extra, which is crazy.
So get your...
Because that's just $2. That is just our, you know, we're just talking about a couple bucks. But like when you go grand scheme of things,
yeah,
if
you want something that's $20 and then you're gonna end up paying $50 for it, that's insane.
And I can't even lie to you guys, I ain't doing the worst right now, and I'm actually happy where I'm at.
Yeah.
However, I'm already the motherfucker who's sitting there like, who's like, $2? No, bitch, because last week you were $1.50. You know what I mean? I'm already that person, so I'm just like, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? It is crazy. It's absolutely insane. Also, because of this line alone, I'm like, I need to go upgrade my phone before shit gets really stupid. So they were saying that, so that also means that a lot of our electronics from China are also gonna be that much more expensive. Yeah. So, like iPhones, you know, they're
everything is made in China,
be more
guys.
expensive.
I don't know what they think. Keep jobs in America.
And I don't know.
I don't think that they know really. I don't really know really.
I think that what I also am like, do any of like the Trumpsters know that like most of the products that Trump peddles out, like as in like his merch, is also made in China? Like, are we all gonna ignore that in the room? Okay, I guess we are. You know, I just think it's interesting.
Yeah, no, they definitely are ignoring it. Yeah,
of course they are.
Yeah,
okay, so anyhow, so
they can't read. They're let me stop.
There are some that I know.
Not reading labels.
I was gonna say there are some that I know absolutely know how to read. Are they doing the most?
But comprehension,
right? You know what is so crazy?
Is key.
Yo, okay, real quick sidebar.
I'm sorry, Republicans.
Really, but I mean, if the shoe fit, I mean, a hit dog will holler. So if you in my comments talking, hey, then it must apply. But what was crazy to me? What was crazy to me is I had.
If you comment on this and you're Republican, we're talking about you.
And bitch,
you're a fucking idiot.
Move it along if it don't apply.
Yeah.
But no, what cracks me up is that I had this really quick debate on Threads with this woman, and we were going back and forth, and it was so interesting. It was a little bit like it's not exactly an oxymoron. It's not an oxymoron. It was more like ironic. It was more of a paradox. She was a paradox. She was a Puerto Rican woman talking about that she was a conservative Republican. But at the same time, she was giving huge conspiracy theory vibes, because this girl came in the gate like, we were talking about something totally different. I gotta go back and see what we were talking about originally. But out of nowhere, she brought up that like oh no, I think that she had posted something about like the Democrats being KKK, or like being the original KKK. And I was like,
if projection is a real thing, bitch.
Yo, and she was trying to say that like the Democrats of way back when are the same Democrat, like, so back in the day, I don't really know if we should go into this history lesson, but really quick.
Parties flip.
Exactly. See, that's what I'm saying. Basic education is holding up in this motherfucker.
The most basic you can get, really.
I say basic education in terms of, because like, I remember me and myself learning this and being like, is it just my education, like my basic ass education, that remembers that there was a time where like we were taught that the Republicans and the Dems did flip,
Abraham Lincoln was Republican.
This girl, she is over here making my point for me. Hello. Yeah. So that's exactly what it was. Thank you. So I was trying to explain to her, because she was like, you know, the Democrats that were the KKK are the Democrats of today, and I was like, let's put a pause. Actually, you have it completely wrong. The Democrats of back then who created the KKK, or whatever the fuck you're trying to say, are actually the Republicans of today. Yeah. So what the fuck are you talking about? If anything, you're demonizing your own party and you don't realize it. Yeah. That's how warped in the brain they are. So then this bitch tries to go and check me. She sends me a link to an article, and I was like, you know what? I'm actually okay with you giving me like some type of valid argument. You know what I mean? Yeah. Send me an article. And I think I told her, like, send me something, because she kept posting memes, and I'm like, bitch, that's not facts. Like, anybody can make a fucking meme. I've done it. Yeah. Send me a fucking link. You know what I mean? So she sends me the link to this article that's supposed to be explaining to me the history of the KKK. What was hilarious is like, she didn't read it. You couldn't have read it. Because in the first few lines, a couple paragraphs, it says, the Republicans of today were the Democrats of then, and then they created the KKK. And I'm just like, so I literally took that line, put it, you know, quoted it, responded back to her, and I was like, I love that you sent the article. You clearly didn't read it.
Yeah.
Because this is what it says.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh, you know, I read it, but I also know this, and I know. And I was like, you know what? I think that reading comprehension class needs to be brought back into our curriculum.
Yeah.
Because you clearly cannot comprehend the things that you are sending out to people, and it's like really sad.
Googled an article like really quickly to give you
try and give me some
something.
Exactly.
Like, you don't read it.
You're not proving a point to me.
This is what I've told Allie.
You're making me realize you're dumber than I thought.
Yeah, and that's the thing is for me, I'm kind of at the point where I'm not gonna argue with someone who I think is an idiot or who I think is dumb. I'm not gonna say that they are actually dumb or stupid, but if I think, to me, I'm very much, and I've had a lot of practice with this because there's quite a few members of my family who are this, you know, and it's like you're talking to a wall or whatever, and it's like at this point, if you can't have like an intellectual conversation about something,
right,
there's no point in saying it. Like I have a family member who is he's I don't even want to say the word conservative because I don't know, but he is a Trump supporter at the moment, and he's also a conspiracy theorist. He thought COVID was a conspiracy, and he loves to talk about communism and like that communism also integrated with like the Democrats are trying to do. I don't know. I don't really know. I tune him out a lot, but whenever he speaks, okay.
Right.
Like, you just because my brother actually got in an argument with him about, I don't remember what it was, but they got in an argument about something, and it was just like, my brother just would not let it go. And I was like, Ryan, he doesn't understand what the fuck you're saying. Like,
and
just stop because
you're like, they don't want
you're burning. No, they cannot understand, they can't comprehend. And they're not ever going to. They want you to hear them, and they want you to hear their side, but they will never, ever take what you're saying into consideration. And that's a lot of the problem that I've had with a lot of people on the conservative side, people of, you know, certain religions and stuff like that. Like, it's kind of like a main theme, I feel like, with a lot of, we're trying to talk politics or religion with someone that doesn't see the same view as you or doesn't have it.
Yeah.
I have to be so open to your view, and I have to try to understand what you're saying, but you are not going to take a second to try to do the same thing for me.
Right.
And to me, that's when there's no point in having a conversation. So the people in my family who think this way about certain things, I don't engage. I won't talk about it with them because I'm just going to get mad.
Yeah.
You're going to interrupt my peace. You're going to make me upset or whatever because it just, again, you can't out explain stupid or over explain stupid. Like, you can't get through to somebody. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's so dumb. So for me, it's like, I just would rather not have the conversation. It's like, yeah, maybe they can think that, oh, you know, I won because she's not saying anything anymore. It's like, no, I think you're a fucking idiot, and I think you don't even have the intellect to comprehend what I'm trying to explain to you. And so it's like I'm talking to like a Teletubby.
Yeah. And you know, so I think you know what, to be fair, I will say I 1,000% agree with you. 1,000%. I think there's also another half of it where I also feel like there's very intelligent people who are being very selective about what they want to consume or what they want to really give a damn about, because it's also benefiting them. If it was in a situation where it was like, no, this is not going to somehow benefit me. Like, so maybe if you're now in a new tax bracket, now you're like, well, the guy who's all about tax cuts and shit is in the office. But all of a sudden, you're team him because you want to save some money.
I feel like, though, the people that are like that aren't as vocal about it as these fucking dumbasses are who are blindly following or blindly whatever, right? Because they're like, okay, they're like, well, no, because I feel like they understand. If someone is like, if someone can actually have a conversation with you about something and about what their views are and why their views are the way that they are, then I feel like it's worth having a conversation, right? It's worth hearing both sides or whatever. But if they just want to talk and whatever, so that's why I think like the people who are smart enough to be benefiting from anything that's going on, they're not the ones that I really feel like are gonna be outwardly I love MAGA, I love Trump, blah blah, run for a third term, you know, destroy our democracy, you know, whatever the fuck. He's amazing, he's gonna go to heaven. Whatever the fuck those shits people are saying. They're not the ones, because again, I feel like if you're smart enough, really, then it's like you have some sense of self-awareness to a certain extent of like, well, unless you're
very selfish.
I guess I mean maybe
against the guy or with the guy who's
but I think
only going to benefit me.
Elon Musk really throws that whole theory out the window, because you would think he's a smart guy, right? Because he makes a shit ton of money, but then you get to the point where people just abuse power, right? And it's just they know that they can get away. Strategy.
I think
Nazi fucking shit and whatever. Like,
don't even get me started on that.
They can do whatever they want.
Don't even get me started. I can never understand how we had the big red scare of communism and the scare of Nazis.
Well, history is doomed to repeat itself,
the 50s,
right?
60s. Yeah. That's true. But what I also just think is interesting is that like back then there was even like a whole witch hunt on suspected communists, suspected Nazis. There was this huge witch hunt to like weed them out of every, you know, especially in Hollywood. But like, you know what I mean? There was this whole thing of like, if you even have a hint, a faint like little whisper of us hearing about you being on their side, it's over. Like, we're coming for you. Yeah. And it's just so interesting how, like, that is just not at all the environment that we're in anymore. It's like, yes, it's the same U.S. government, but the people who are pulling the strings do not care about it the same way that they did before.
Trump emboldened people to be outwardly racist, outwardly homophobic, outwardly just horrible people in general.
Prejudice.
I feel like, I think that people were afraid of it to a certain extent, right? To a certain extent, out of their own social circles, people weren't as bold until Trump came into office and started saying shit and being racist and being sexist and being homophobic, being misogynistic. Like, people were a little bit more afraid. I think maybe a little bit more conservative, held it in a little bit. Now I feel like nobody gives a fuck because literally the president of the United States is doing it. Right. And he's doing whatever the fuck he wants. He says whatever the fuck he wants. And it's so insane.
It is. It's a crapshoot.
It
is. It's wild.
It's really hard not to get, I mean, like,
it's hard not to get upset.
What the hell is going on? Really?
Yeah, exactly. Like, really. Yeah, you're right. So, okay, so that brings us back to what is going on at the moment.
Reel it back in.
Let's reel her back in. All right, so I told you guys about how China was like the biggest country, or the country that had the biggest tariffs. And it definitely feels like he's trying to make an example out of China. Now, compared to other countries, the tariffs aren't as bad. Now, I also don't 1,000% know if it's not as bad because he's trying to... Because... Is it an example, him trying to make an example of China, but also at the same time, is it more so because China does ship us like, we import so much more from China than these other countries? Because in respect, to be honest, like, when I think about it, the other stuff that I have at home, I'm like, I highly doubt most of the shit that I order are from these places. Yeah. So, for example, the other countries are Japan has a 24% tariff right now, apparently. The EU, 20%, Vietnam, 46%, and Thailand, 36%. However, they were all temporarily spared with a 90-day delay. So, right now, we don't see those tariffs being actually what is it, imposed. They're not imposed at the very moment, but the China ones are being imposed right now. So it is very, I don't know, I just feel like it's interesting that he went for the biggest dude on the block.
It's interesting to see, like, because at the same time it's like he's trying to punish China, right? Or he's trying to make a point or whatever the hell he's doing. And it's like, but the people who pay the tariffs are the people who are consuming the goods. So it's us. Right. So nobody. So
I guess he's trying to say that, like, we're gonna just not consume those goods
so it's
anymore.
like it's gonna be too expensive for us to want to buy stuff that's made from China. But it's like, when you think about it, let's say something. Actually, do you know what I heard? I was listening to somebody talk about this. I don't remember who it was. It might have been Brittany Broski, but they were talking about the tariffs and it being like, let's say, okay, because like there's an orange, right? And you're like, okay, this orange was American made. It was on an American farm or whatever, right? But the pesticides used to spray the oranges, where did they get that from? The bags, the netting that they use to put the oranges in, the tractors that or whatever, like what all the tools that are used to harvest this orange or whatever it is. It's like, and that puts stuff into different perspective for me as well, because it was like, so much stuff goes into American-made companies, right? So stuff that's made in America, all the stuff that they buy and all the parts that they need and all the labor and things that are needed to just have that product be made here is come from so many other different places. So it doesn't, I feel like the tariffs don't only fuck the consumer really, because it does, but it also fucks American businesses who have like outsourced stuff, or maybe the stuff that they need to be able to build this product here in America. It's also fucking them over, because now they have to pay extra to get the netting that they use to put the oranges in or whatever, or the labels that are used to make like the paper or whatever the fuck it is. And I just remember thinking of that as like, I didn't ever think of that perspective before, because that's not stuff that, if you're not making products, you're not thinking about that extra stuff. Where's the packaging coming from? Where's the labeling come from? Where is all of this stuff coming from? So that was a really interesting perspective.
Absolutely.
He's coming across as like, this is helping the American people. This is helping America. And it's not. It's really going to affect everybody here across the board in a very negative way. But it's interesting to see, because it's like, what is he really trying to do? Because it does seem like it's stock market manipulation. It does seem like he's doing all this stuff so other people can make a lot of money. Billionaires can get richer. And yeah, it's just hard. He's a businessman.
That's what they tell us.
We don't need a businessman running America.
I mean, my thing is...
A failed businessman.
We
need a human. We need someone who's human.
Yes, and don't get me wrong, I feel as though I really wish, like, Democrats and Republicans would work the way that they were meant to be. Like, I don't mind having a Republican be on the purse strings. To be totally honest, I really don't mind it. But I do want a Democrat to be at the helm when it comes to foreign policy. Like, you know, foreign relations. Like, so it's like, I wish that they could really, truly work together the way that they're supposed to be. But... whatever. I mean, I guess we'll just have to see how this turns out. But so far, it is definitely making everyone like freak the fuck out. Really quick also, just to mention, because I did list all the other countries that did have tariffs imposed. Russia and North Korea are the only ones that have 0% tariff imposed. Oh, surprise, surprise. Russia and North Korea? And that's why I prefaced that, like, maybe it's because we don't really import that many things from them. Or maybe he's friends with the dictators in Russia and North Korea. Okay, bitch. Or maybe, I don't know. That's just weird. Just weird, you know, just something to know. Trump is making this move, apparently, because he says that he believes in economic sovereignty. So basically, he's trying to say that, like, he wants to push back on the fact that America has such a huge deficit. We are in the whole $1.2 trillion in trade deficit. So don't get me wrong, we have a very big bill that we do need to go ahead and start paying on and, you know, make that work for us. The thing though is that I think is interesting is like, it's kind of hard to go back. I mean, you can do it, but it is a little bit harder to go back to your creditor, for example, to go back to a creditor and be like, okay, I see this big giant bill that you sent me. Let's negotiate a lower rate. What a lot of people don't know is that you can actually do that. You can go back to your credit card company. If you were like, if they do a collections on you, you can actually go back and be like, look, we can tie this up right here, right now.
This video is sponsored by Credit Karma.
Right.
Just kidding. It's not.
But I'm just saying that, like, you can go back and negotiate with your creditor and be like, hey, don't necessarily sell this debt to somebody else. I would rather negotiate it with you. Or if they do sell it to somebody else, you can even go back to them and be like, I'm trying to renegotiate with you now.
Yeah.
You know, anyway, so there is a way to do it. I just feel as though the way that he's doing it is just so sudden. So that's the thing, you know, I think that I understand a little bit of what he's saying. However, the move is so fast, it's so sudden, it doesn't really give our economy the chance to catch up with such a dramatic change.
Yeah.
And I think that's also why he keeps doing these delays. Like, on a lot of things he keeps doing delays. It's not the first executive order that has been pushed back by 90 days.
Yeah, but it seems again like it's manipulation. He's scaring people, and then when the day comes that stuff is supposed to happen, so people are preparing for it to happen, he changes something. And that's manipulation at its finest. That's holding people by their fucking purse strings or whatever the fuck the thing is, and you're fucking with people.
Exactly. Now, there's another thing that I think is interesting is that he's trying to frame it as though he's protecting American jobs and reducing our reliance on adversarial nations, which, okay, sure, but again, you're putting jobs at jeopardy because you're making these moves so sudden.
You can't say that you're protecting American jobs when you're cutting programs like Department of Education and DEI and across the board. Like, you cannot say you're protecting American jobs. And then
having Elon go through and just gut all the government jobs.
That's what I'm saying. Like, are you protecting white people jobs? Because it's like, that's DEI. You're what is this cutting? Labor jobs. Mm-hmm. Like, what is this? What is this tariffs doing? Like, it's not making sense to me. That's all I want to say.
Exactly. And, you know, I also mention this because what's interesting is if you go take a little trip onto the White House website and you go and look up, like, why are these tariffs being imposed? It's interesting because they're saying that it actually has more to do with they want to make sure that China and Mexico and Canada are held responsible for allowing illegals to come into the country, but also fentanyl to be poured into our country.
Oh my God, dude.
Don't get me wrong. I do believe there is I don't want there to be a fentanyl crisis.
No, there's definitely a fentanyl crisis. There's always going to be a drug crisis.
Unfortunately. But I'm also just like, it's very interesting to see that, like, it's like, what is the real reason? What is the reason? You know, the Cardi B one where it's like, what is that reason? Because you keep saying it's this, then you say it's that, then it's this and it's that, and it's like, how is fentanyl
all over the place
to do with me getting a fucking American-made car?
Well, that's what they say. They're trying to scare us, right? They're saying that they're deporting immigrants because they're deporting the murderers and the rapists and the whatever and the criminals. But it's also that's what they're just saying. They say shit to scare us, right?
Yes.
But it's like, when you think about it, like, the high traffic, if you guys have ever seen Narcos or whatever, like, when you think of the people who are high and up there that are trafficking drugs into America or making it here, whatever the case is, if drugs are being trafficked into America, do you think that they're the ones that are, like, the family that's hopping the border? Like, are they the ones trafficking?
Right.
It's so skewed because it's like, the people who are trafficking shit into America have enough money to pay off people to get that shit here. I don't think you guys fucking understand that. There's planes. There's fucking trucks. There's, like,
tunnels.
But we're focused on fucking DEI right? We're focused on people overstaying visas and whatever. We're focusing on migrant workers.
Mm-hmm.
They're not the fucking ones bringing drugs into the United States. Like, I'm sure maybe there's a couple, and maybe there's the ones you see on the fucking news or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, I just hate how it's skewed against, like, everyone's view who lives here in America. They're trying to force a skewed view of immigrants into America.
Yes.
And that's the shit I don't fuck with, because we were just talking about this earlier. We are literally a nation of immigrants. And we're not that fucking old.
Right.
So it's like, there's only been, who came here as the first immigrants, it's only been like, what, a few generations that are over here?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, and then we killed all the people who were actually fucking here? Get the fuck out of here, dude. It
is crazy. Not to laugh, but it's just so ridiculous.
It's because it's
when
fucking,
you think about it.
It's at the end of the day, at the core of all of these beliefs, it's racism. It's racism at its fucking finest, and I don't fucking like it. I fucking hate that shit.
I agree. I agree.
The Nazi salute, Elon's Nazi salute, fucking, and it's like Donald Trump being married to a fucking immigrant. It's like, I just, like, I can't.
Elon being a motherfucking immigrant.
Elon being a motherfucking immigrant.
The motherfucker not being elected, but touching all types of shit that elected officials
getting
should only be allowed to touch.
Social security numbers.
Don't even get me
come
started.
on, guys. Like, the whole thing of, like, this nation was built on the backs of immigrants.
Yes.
And on the backs of slaves.
Yes.
And it's like, so and because we killed the people who lived here first. It's
and tried to wash out all of the history of the slaves, all of the immigrants that built this country.
It's just this shit makes me so mad. I'm sure you guys can tell I'm actually a really even-tempered person.
Yes.
But this shit makes me so upset. It's just, it doesn't make any sense to me. It's so hypocritical, and it's so evil to the core.
It feels so evil.
It's evil to the core, and that's.
That is that. Well,
but what else? Tell me more.
Let me
get riled up again. Let me get riled up again.
But I mean, I'm glad you're saying it, because I feel like I've been, we've all been holding it back.
We've been holding it back too much.
Yeah, for real.
All you need is a White Claw surge.
Who knew?
It's only 8%, bitch. This wouldn't have done shit to us 3 years ago.
But it feels really, like, yeah, it's like not too much, but like, it's a little, yeah. Okay, so, anywho, for right now, we're not exactly sure how long these tariffs are going to be. They're not exactly like set in stone. There is like no sunset clause on them, so they're pretty indefinite at the moment. Now, what people are noticing, or what they're highlighting, is that U.S. automakers are expected to take a $100 billion hit.
Automakers, does that mean like cars?
Yes, yes, exactly. Car makers, basically. And
U.S.
Yes, that's also interesting.
Because do they import their parts from? See, motherfuckers. See, nothing is ever only made here. Oh my god. My fucking god.
Yes, ma'am.
Come on, guys.
They're also saying that electronics, clothing, and medicine prices are already reacting.
Of course. Let's make medicine more expensive.
I know.
Let's make.
So now we need to get into market manipulation, like you mentioned.
Yes,
so
please.
Critics are very, very suspicious of the timing. They say that Trump paused the tariffs for a 90-day delay, except for China, just before markets opened. So stocks soared, raising red flags about potential insider trading. Okay? So if anybody has been wondering, we're gonna just go ahead and be the ones that fucking say it out loud. More than likely, yes.
Because also,
more than likely,
cue
yes.
the fucking video of Trump literally saying, I'll send it to you, put it in.
I am.
Trump is telling other people in the Oval Office, wherever he was, Charles Schwab made $2 billion or whatever the fuck, and he made $900 million off of the stock markets yesterday. And it's like, because you said some shit, and then it's all fucked. Who's getting richer by? I think that's the thing. Every time something happens, every time he says something about money or what is gonna happen to businesses and the economy in general. It's like we have to look at it in a perspective now of like who's benefiting from who is not even who's benefiting from it, because I feel like it's framed a lot to where the American people are benefiting, right? That's what we're hearing. But who's making money off of it, I think, is like the real way we need to look at what's going on. Who's making money? Who's gonna profit off of this? Because it's not about who's it benefiting, because people are gonna skew that all the time.
All the time.
People are gonna say it's for the American people, it's for the middle class. They say fuck the middle class all fucking time. So it's like that, obviously not. But who's making money, who's profiting off of this shit? Because at the end of the day, 9 times out of 10, it's the billionaire class. It's the 1%. It really is. And that
is crazy.
It's crazy.
It's sad.
Crazy.
It's
crazy. It's sad.
It is. Well, just a quick mention, there are secondary tariffs apparently. So the administration introduced secondary tariffs targeting countries that trade with nations like Venezuela, Russia, and Iran, imposing additional tariffs on those transactions.
Wait, Russia? Wait. What does that mean?
So they're basically trying to say that, like, if you guys continue to trade with Russia and Venezuela and Iran, then we're also going to add secondary tariffs on top of that too.
But we have a 0% tariff. There's no tariffs on Russia. For us specifically.
That's why I had to mention it. But
if somebody else trades with Russia, they get what?
Yeah.
I wonder
I don't understand what that's
about.
Yeah. Now, like we were saying, the market has been very volatile because of that whole situation. The fluctuations have been humongous, like sharp declines, other things are soaring, like it's all over the place. But economists and financial leaders are warning us that the tariffs could drive the U.S. into a recession. Now, I don't know if I should say this, but I kind of want to say it.
Take it out if you don't believe it when you're sober.
That's true. That's true. Our battery's dying, so maybe it's perfect timing. I can double check. I was gonna say, can I double check? And then you change it.
Yes.
Sorry, we gotta be safe. We gotta
hear it first.
Okay, just to put a bow on it. Okay.
Yes.
Basically, the tariffs are expected to increase prices on a wide range of goods, including electronics, automobiles, household items, medicine. Like I said to you guys before, affecting consumers globally, not just here. Okay. Now, the sudden 90-day pause on tariffs for most countries announced via social media, which is like what?
Yeah.
Anyway, raised a lot of suspicions of potential insider trading as markets rallied immediately following the announcement. So we shall see.
So of course, market manipulation. Try to argue against it, maybe.
Hey, I mean, this is the part where you guys can argue it in the comments. But like, if you're just gonna harp on us talking about Republicans earlier.
It is what it is. Don't listen to us if you don't like what we have to say then. I don't know. I'm 30 now, I don't care.
Don't give up. So now that we're done with like the very heavy conversation in the room,
let's get into some fun stuff.
Let's do some.
Thanks for hanging in there, guys.
Yeah.
I know we get, also, I feel like Allie and I get very passionate when we start talking about politics and stuff. Politics, religion. We both have very strong views. Very similar views, which is why we are friends. Which is great. But yeah, I mean, so thank you for staying with it. I'm assuming if you've watched this long already, then you probably have the same views, and we love you.
And honestly, if you don't have the same views, I'm not offended about you not agreeing with me. It's more so that if we have an open dialogue about it, kind of need you to come correct. Kind of need you to come with the shits. Not in a bad way.
No, come
in
with some
open, respectful, but at the same time, like, come with some facts. Give a bitch some links. Like, don't just give me memes.
We don't like to be ignorant and just have opinions just to have opinions.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
if I'm wrong, I am fine with being wrong.
Yeah.
But I want to know the actual real information. I don't want to just be giving an opinion.
Educate us if you can.
Exactly.
we also educate ourselves so we don't think you can. Go ahead and try,
into the challenge.
Go ahead and try, bitch.
Exactly.
What's on the news for pop culture, Allie?
Okay, so for pop culture
We'd be
check.
such great, like, show hosts.
We would. We just need like all the little.
You lead it.
You know, but I love it. The combination of us would be perfect because I would harp on shit and you'd be like, okay, let's go. But okay, so yes, let's see what's going on in pop culture. I guess we're calling it the pop culture pulse check. Okay, cute. Okay, cute.
I love that.
Me too. Okay, so a few things happened in the news. One of them was Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco had this interview because apparently they put out an album together. So it was really interesting because it was like very lovey-dovey and it was just refreshing to see Selena in the news about like a more positive relationship. Everyone's always trying to combine her with Justin, always trying to throw her in the mix of her and the Haley beef, and it was just nice seeing Selena pop out with the new dude.
People say too, it's like Benny Blanco, the way he is. I feel like we should put up a couple clips.
Yeah.
But of that interview that we're talking about. But Benny Blanco is what it's like he was written by a woman, right? He is a romantic character in a book that a woman has written. Like everything that a woman wants to hear. And it's the definition, in my opinion, of like a real man. Someone who is not afraid to say the things that he says, which I think for more context we should just show.
Yeah. So she's gonna pull that up. I'm just gonna give you guys a heads up. The album was called I Said I Love You First, and it's definitely giving like soft girl energy with like very supportive king. You know what I mean? Very soft girl with the supportive king energy. Very lovey-dovey. So Selena says that Benny helped her find her voice again in music. And Benny says that he just wants her to be herself. He wants her to be happy. So let's watch a little quick clip.
Yeah. She gets spicy sometimes.
Yeah.
And when I see something happening, it's about guiding the missile, not adding a jetpack on top of it with like machine gun artillery. Like I want to make, if I see her getting to a place where I'm like, man, in 5 minutes from now, this room could explode. I'm never going to let it get to that 5 minutes from now. I'm going to say, what are all the tools that I know that work for her, that I've learned over? Like, I'm not going to exacerbate a situation. I'm going to try to calm it down, because why do I want to be in that position where we're both just like upset about something? I don't want to just calm it down and tell her what she wants to hear. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying like to your partner, be like, yes, you're right. You're totally right. Like everything no, I think you listen and you say like, okay, like sometimes I'll say like, let's not let it get there. Let's like just talk about this. And I do think physical touch is always like a very big way. Like if you're in a conversation with your partner, like it's like sometimes just like a hand helps, or just holding their hand while you're telling them, or giving them a hug while you're telling them. And if someone's upset, let them talk it out first. And then after they talk it out, be like, okay, well, here's what I think, and you can work through these things together. There's such an easy way.
Very constructive.
Yeah, it's not always easy. I can tell you that. And sometimes someone wants to be frustrated. And it's like, sometimes she'll tell me that. She'll just be like, I know it's going to be okay, but like, I just want to be frustrated in this moment.
Yeah.
And I'll have to redirect, because I'll be like, you know what? You have every right to be in this moment. And she'll say, this is why I want to be frustrated in this moment. She said it the other day about something. I can't even remember. And I was just like, oh my God. I was like, yeah. I was like, that makes so much sense. I was like, I don't agree with the frustration. We'll get there afterwards. And I was like, but I get it. She gets spicy sometimes.
I like it. He sounds like a really good dude.
Yeah. I feel like, let's watch one more.
Okay.
Understand them. I think people's biggest problems, especially men, are that we don't listen all the time. You got to listen. Just shut up and listen. Listen to what they're saying. A woman is going to tell you exactly what she needs. Like when guys are like, I don't know what she wants. I don't know. She told you already. You're just an idiot. You're not listening. Just listen. If a girl is getting frustrated with you on something, she's definitely told you multiple times and you're just not paying attention. So it's like, just listen And don't be reactionary. Proactively do these things. I don't know if you do the same thing, but when you're away from your partner, you just try to think of little things that's going to make them feel more comfortable, better.
Yeah.
You know, I'm on the other hand, I'm like living on the moon. So it's like, she doesn't have to really do anything for me. Cause I'm all in on everything with her. And I fully trust her in every capacity. And my whole life, I've always been like this. I trust everyone until they give me a reason not to.
Yes.
Okay. And I trust people to be who they are. Okay. And so far, I know who she is. So until further notice, that's how I'm going to treat her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah.
They're so cute. I love that for her and for them. And you know what? I think that people give Benny a lot of shit because he doesn't look like what they thought. They thought that she was
He's no Justin Bieber.
Yeah, he ain't no hunk. You know what I mean?
That doesn't matter at the end of the day.
You know what? That's the thing. That's very, very true. You want to be treated correctly. Also, don't sleep on that man. I fell down like one of those thread rabbit holes. And one of the girlies was like, look now, go and Google Benny Blanco before he got lit, like before he got famous. Go see what he used to look like. Girl, shaven head, no unibrow, clean, crisp.
Can you pull it up? Can I look? Can we look?
You want to see?
Yeah, I want to see.
He was on a red carpet. It's really trying not to show us him before this.
I believe you.
I swear, he looked so different. Yeah. He looked a little bit skinnier too, and oh man. Okay, if I find it again,
yeah,
I will like post it in here for you guys to see for yourself.
Yeah.
But he does look a lot better, a little bit more.
Yeah.
You can see how other women will find him.
I feel
attractive.
I feel like nowadays it's hard. I don't know how to say it really, but I feel like it's hard to come across a man that like actually enjoys you. You know what I mean? And like wants to please you. I feel
this
like
extent, yeah.
to that extent, right? And like that's like the fantasy, right? That's what people want. I have a list of a bunch of things that's like, I would want all these things in a partner, in a relationship, and it's this, and this. But you know, while you're making that list, that you're probably gonna have to compromise on some stuff, right?
True.
You make the list. This is a goal, but you don't even know if that goal exists. And you think that you're gonna have to compromise on probably a few of those, and that's probably okay. You can probably make that work, but like, the goal is all of it, but you make that, you always know, I feel like, especially probably with women, with us, where it's like, we feel like there's probably a man that's not going to meet all of those needs, that we're going to have to settle for something. Well, he does this, he doesn't do this, but it's okay because,
you know, my stepdad called it the 80-20 rule. He said that you can have your list of 100% of things that you want. However, when you meet that person, you have to be realistic and realize that if they at least meet 80%, that is more than good enough.
And that's
because 20% is just like and now you also have to weigh what part of the list is more important to you. Because some people might be like, 80%, he's good on paper, girl. But if you're like,
but he's a cheater.
But exactly.
It's like, okay, well, I think that's a little bit more than right. I think that category sums up for more than 20%. You know what I mean? But again, but if he makes a shit ton of money, then maybe weighs it out a little bit. But I do think that, again, it's like, because we see stuff like this. We see Selena and Benny, and people, I look at the comments and people are like, don't settle because your perfect man is out there, but you don't know. It's like you just never know. It's hard to trust the universe in that respect, especially just living. You meet so many people, and so many people are just so many people are just themselves, right? And that doesn't align with you and who you are as a person. So it's hard to believe that will be somebody, or maybe multiple people, whoever, how many soulmates you believe there are in a life that align with what you want. But I do think, like, again, I think Selena Gomez 1,000,000,000% deserves it. I think that she's been through a lot of fucking shit. And
Yes,
I think
and
that
don't get me wrong, I think that people think that like if you have a lot of money and if you're famous that like
that
the
it's
shit that you
easier
go through
or whatever
is
to
just not,
fucking
it's like that's still hard, like seeing like
Ariana Grande. People shit on Ariana Grande a lot, but I'm like, do you know this fucking shit she's been through? It's so heartbreaking, dude. It's heartbreaking.
yeah,
Try to be a normal fucking person after going through some of the stuff that she's been through.
Yeah,
like,
she's been through a lot.
really. And so it's like, but I mean, again, with just like the whole Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco shit, it's like, I think, yes, of course, I do think he is probably one of the most perfect partners, especially for her. For
sure.
100%. And then, but then, so what? So do we settle for someone who's less than what our version of Benny Blanco would be? Or do you sit and do you wait for someone who would match that energy with you? You know what I mean? I'm not gonna settle, but it's just hard because again, everything's on a timeline right now. Every life is all on a timeline. So it's like, so do I wait another 5 years? Do we wait till we're 35 to fucking possibly meet somebody? Or do we keep going where we're at or whatever? You know what I mean? It's just like,
for the guys, it's like, whatever.
it's easier because you don't have a biological time. You don't have a biological clock.
Yes, men have a different type of.
Women start going through menopause at like 40, 45, right? Whatever the fucking age is.
That's what they say. Like, usually it's more like 50, but there are so many women who are having perimenopause.
Dude, my mom went through menopause for 10 fucking years. From 40 to 50. She had me, mind you, at 35. I was from 5 to 15, bitch. That's the worst fucking age for your mother to go through menopause. I'm fucking telling you. I'm fucking telling you right now. It's the worst fucking age. She was such a bitch. I swear to God. I feel like maybe sometimes she's still going through it. Anyways, but
that's good for me to remember that because I'm like, oh shit. At least you got a baby. I ain't popped out nothing.
That's what I'm saying. My loins are satisfied. Just saying that felt very wrong.
Oh, that was cute. They sound so cute together, her and Benny.
So happy for her. But
Me too.
How is Justin Bieber doing? How's the Biebs doing with all of this shit going on?
Funny you should ask. So what's really interesting is actually Justin Bieber. We'll do a quick little relationship update about him. Justin Bieber is married to Hailey Bieber, Hailey Baldwin or whatever, but now she's Hailey Bieber.
Is that Alec Baldwin's daughter?
I believe it is.
Or is it his niece or something?
Something like that. I think it's his daughter.
It's probably, I think Alec Baldwin.
Oh, one of the brothers. Oh, okay. I always thought that she was like from the head Baldwin. Just kidding. She's from one of the brothers. One of the subs.
Okay.
Which is not bad.
That's okay.
I mean, but definitely changes things a little
Just
tiny
a little bit.
Just a little tiny bit.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah. So basically, him and Hailey actually recently just had their baby. So they've been married for a couple years now.
Baby.
Yeah. So she was pregnant for like everyone's like the longest, but she was pregnant for you know the 9 months.
I think they vaguely remember that.
And she was doing a whole lot of like baggy clothes and stuff, so people weren't like super focused on it. But yeah, so she was pregnant. She just had the baby not too long ago. I want to say like it was like less than a month ago.
Oh
yeah, it was like fairly recent.
Okay.
Now what's weird though is everyone has been saying that like they feel like Justin has been crashing out. So he's been popping up he's been popping up on social media a little bit more now. And the first reason why people were getting worried was because, at least for me, I don't know if this is the one that really like alerted the alarms for everyone else, but for me, kinda. So he was in the car and it looked like Hailey was driving and it looked like he might have been in the back seat. Not 1,000% sure why, but that's just the angle. And what people were like kind of like scratching their head about was the fact that he put the video up, she's driving, and then like the music, you know how you like choose your music for the Instagram post? The song that he chose was Beyonce's To the Left. To the left, to the left. Everything you own in the box to the left. In the closet. Yeah, that's my stuff. Yes, if I bought it, then please don't touch. And keep talking that mess, that's fine. But can you walk and talk at the same time? And you know,
I was about to stand up. Keep going.
I know.
I was like, that was good. I was waiting for the.
It wasn't gonna happen. But yeah, so like it was just weird because it was like, why of all songs would you put this on a video
with you and your wife?
Your wife, and you just had a baby with her. So like, so everyone's like, is he like gonna break up with Haley? Like, what is going on? Like, we're worried about him. He's been posted up like. Paparazzi's been finding him everywhere, as they always do, but lately he's just been looking so skinny, and like they're worried that he looks kind of out of it. Like, they're not sure what's going on with him. I feel like there was a time, remember when we were all worried about Britney? I mean, I feel like we're in it right now. We're all worried about Britney Spears, right?
Yeah,
we're all worried.
Yeah.
Yes. So I feel like it's kind of like the same vein of like, okay, there's more going on with you than we thought there was, and so like now we were like, oh, free you, and we want to see you more, da da da. Now that we see you more, we're like, somebody need to go call.
Yeah, I think
somebody go call his railer. You know what I mean?
Maybe reel it back in a little bit.
Exactly.
We're spoiled.
Yes.
This is what it is.
Yeah. So he's been very much. He's just been a little bit more vocal when we do see him lately. We've been seeing him. The paparazzi has been popping up on him. And the most recent incident was in Palm Springs, where the paparazzi were taking photos of him. I guess it looked like he was like walking to a coffee shop with his homies, his posse, his crew. And what I thought was interesting was that like out of all the people around him, he's the one who steps up front and is like telling the paparazzi, go away, you're all vultures, you just want money, you just want to take photos, get out of here, get out of here. I just thought it was interesting because it was like nobody from his camp were like, yeah, fucking skedaddle. Like, if it was me and you, I'd be like, bitch, she said, be gone. You know what I mean? I'd be out there, like, acting like I'm a security guard. Like, if you said, yo, I'm fucking over these motherfuckers always popping up, well, then we gonna pop up on them. Like,
I wonder if they were like, oh, he's having an episode again.
Yo, when you look at the video, it's just like all of them are just like looking around. They're all just like, you ready to go in the coffee shop? Like, they don't even like step in or anything. It was just, it was very weird to me to watch. And he's been posting these like really cryptic messages on IG, and he's been talking about like isolation and feeling watched, and he just like keeps popping up saying that like he's basically saying like he's fucking tired of being a celebrity. That's what it really sounds like, is he's fucking tired. And I get
he's not tired of the money though. Why don't you work a 9 to 5, Justin, and tell me you're tired of being a celebrity?
Someone gotta say it, okay? So we'll watch a little clip of the outburst. Just a little quick.
Please.
Just a little quickity quick. Him flicking off everybody. This is like me and my normal run to the coffee shop. Everybody else is flipping out because it's Justin Bieber, but
Michael Justin Bieber is angry. Very angry. His frustration stems from an encounter he had with
like,
the
you're gonna come
paparazzi
in,
while he was
or
out getting a cup of coffee. The video of him confronting photographers is going viral on the internet. Bieber looks visibly frustrated as a photographer approaches him. Bieber spotted a hoodie and immediately tried to conceal his face using
look at all these people he's with.
Let me put my arms under my shirt.
Bieber responded with,
so much cooler.
No, not good morning. You already know. Why are you here? Lashing out at the undeterred photographers, Bieber kept repeating the word money, money, money while making...
To be fair, I really did try and find out.
Is my boobs out? I'm sorry.
No.
I was like, I don't know how high it's gonna go. It's a big shirt.
But like, I meant to find a video of like him just doing the bit, not her talking to. But it's kind of
you don't even need to put her. Yeah.
You really don't need her in it, but you get what I'm saying. Like, he just walks up to this fucking coffee shop. He sees all the paparazzi. He starts getting pissed. You just want money. You just want to get money. Get out of here. But they don't go nowhere. They're all just like, oh, that's crazy, Justin. You know what I mean? Like, they're just like, what is that gonna do?
He knows that by now.
Yeah,
he does. I don't know. We don't know what he's doing.
We don't even really need her to say much else, but he's just running around like, look at the friends. What are you guys doing?
Coming in, or what are you gonna order?
Should I get your
You wanted that oat milk matcha, right?
They don't know what's going on with this man.
Okay, I guess I'll pay this time. You'll pay me back though.
Right. Got your black card. It's on you. I don't know, but it definitely had people worried about his mental health and the whole situation that's going on with him. And supposedly Haley, like, we don't know if they're still together. We're assuming that they are, but
well, I mean, there was a whole thing about him unfollowing her on Instagram, and I think it was mutual. I think she also or no, or I think it.
That might make a little bit more sense.
Let me back up.
That makes more sense.
There was something on Instagram about him unfollowing her on Instagram, and people clocked it. Whoever the fuck is deep diving into this
doing
shit,
that every day?
Their fucking job. I'm sure they have a list that they go through. And someone clocked it, and then Hailey Bieber posted something that it was hacked or something like that they didn't unfollow each other or whatever.
Oh, okay.
But that's what she posted. But it also seems like if it was a rage unfollow or something like that, of course that's what she would say, right?
True.
At the end of the day, it seems like, I don't know. Again, when you look at a relationship perspective of Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco, is Justin Haley's Benny Blanco? Does not seem like it. You know what I mean? It seems like to me, it seems like he has always wanted Selena, and he's settling for Hailey Bieber, right? At that point, but he wasn't good enough for Selena. He wasn't.
Yeah, honestly,
right?
And
it's like now Selena is with someone, and it seems like if he's also doing whatever shit, it's like he's still immature.
And I think honestly, what I notice more is more of like, does he have like truly like the mental bandwidth? Like is his mental state like in a healthy place for him to be a Benny Blanco for somebody else? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think that like
he needs to be a Benny Blanco for himself first.
Amen, girl.
Baby.
That's what I'm saying, girl.
You gotta take care of yourself first before you can take care of somebody else. Or attempt to take care of someone else. I think though, like with the celebrity, it must be so hard though, right? To be in the just being in the spotlight in general, especially nowadays. Celebrities aren't people who we just see in the tabloids anymore, right? We can see, we have access to them almost 24/7 because now they want to post content all the time, so we're seeing them for who they are. We can't romanticize celebrities anymore. We can't be like, oh my gosh, I love Tom Cruise so much, and then you find out, oh shit, Tom Cruise is a Trump supporter, which I don't know, but just for an example, right? Then you're just like, oh, okay, well I don't like him anymore. Back in the day, you didn't really know celebrities' political affiliations, their religious preferences. You didn't know their personal beliefs. Everything was a fantasy. Hollywood was a fantasy that the outside world couldn't tap into. Now, we have TikTok, we have Instagram, we have stories where people can just post whatever the fuck they want. And they are. Because they want people to see them for who they are and whatever. It's like, that's a natural thing. But now we're seeing too much. And when something doesn't align with what you believe, it kind of ruins that person for you. It ruins that idealization of somebody, right? You're not holding them to this godlike standard anymore. It's humanizing them, and you're like, oh, they have traits that don't align with mine, so now I don't like them. So now I don't support them. And it has to be incredibly difficult, right? It has to be. So, and then the pressure to get married, the pressure to find somebody, the pressure, especially again, in that type of situation where it's like you're as famous as Justin Bieber, you want to find somebody who gets you, that's not using you, right? But it's like you're gonna, again, with the whole list thing, you're gonna have to probably compromise on a few things, but because you feel like this person isn't using you, right? So you're gonna compromise maybe on a couple other things, but as long as this person is genuine and whatever. But is it who, maybe he's the one who he's always wanted to be with? Who knows?
Who knows? I mean, to me, it seems like Justin has been very adamant about, like, he chose Hailey. He really wants to be with her. Honestly, I actually worry more about kind of like what people are saying, that, like, I never want to label a addiction or a problem on somebody that if they have not come out and said it themselves. So part of me is like, okay, this could be burnout, but at the same time I also worry because he just looks a little, in my opinion, a little bit unhealthy. Not like in the worst. He just looks a little bit unhealthy. So it like very skinny and scrawny, and like he's always upset every time we see him somewhere. So it's also like part of me is like, is there something deeper going on? Like I just think it's sometimes it's like mental. Could it be health wise? Could it be a combination? You know? So that's why I'm also like, I really do hope that like whatever is going on with him, he does get help. I hope that it has nothing to do with his relationship, if anything. I really do hope that it's more so to do with like him needing to get himself situated, because I would just feel terrible. I just feel bad because like now that he does have a family, before it was like, oh, okay, it's your girlfriend, whatever happens happens, but now that you have a family, it's like, dude, get your shit together. Like we all are worried about you. I really hope that like it's nothing too serious. Like that's what also makes me wonder, like, is there something else going on with you health wise? Oh, you know what, there might be. Because remember there was a time when his whole body, like half his face got paralyzed?
Was that Bell's palsy? Because that's not if it is Bell's palsy, that's not a serious medical condition. My dad's had Bell's palsy a few times. It's, so normally when half your face or a side goes numb, people are worried about strokes, right? Because that's one of the symptoms. But there's something called Bell's palsy, which is the half of your face loses all motor control, basically. And so my dad's had this a few times. There's nothing linked to how it happens. It's not genetic. It's not, they don't know how people can get it. It could, I don't know, maybe there's a million reasons why someone could get it. Maybe maybe it's just unknown, but it's very much like you don't know, and there's no length of time. So when my dad had it, I think the first time he got it was not funny, but it was right before he got married to my mom. So in his wedding pictures, his face still has loss of motor control. And it's happened to him, I want to say in my lifetime, maybe about 3 times. And you can't blink. Like you have to either close your eye, you can't blink, you can't move the whole side of your face. So I wonder if that's probably maybe what he had, because that's the only thing.
I think that you're right.
Because it's either stroke or, and if it's a stroke, then strokes are so extreme too that I feel like
I think he said it was
a stroke. Bell's palsy is very
there's more mild than a stroke.
There's a term for it. Well, because it doesn't necessarily affect your health, right? It's like you have to use eye drops. There's also no set of time of when it'll heal. So again, it could be a few weeks and your face comes back to normal, or it could be months. And I even know to this day, like my dad, when he smiles or whatever, like this eye is slightly, like, doesn't open all the way or whatever. Like, so that's one thing I do know about.
I'm glad that we had you here.
But I wonder, because otherwise the only other thing I could think of that would have like half of facial paralysis would be a stroke.
But I think
and
you're right,
if he had a stroke, I feel like we would all know about it, right? If he had a stroke, I feel like that would be one of the things that would be like, oh yeah, Justin Bieber had a stroke or something like that.
Maybe. I mean, I do know that, so I think that he said it was, that it was Bell's palsy, because he said he was just waiting for it to come back.
It's not linked to
That's what I thought. I assumed that it was linked to stress.
It could be. That's the thing, is like, we don't know. Sure. We don't know what it's linked to. And so it could be linked to stress. It could be linked to diet. It could be linked to, it's like, we don't know.
Right.
But it's one of those things that's like, it's a health issue that is just in my opinion, maybe more of a random phenomenon. But I think if you have it once, I'm assuming you're probably more likely to have it again, just because of seeing my dad go through it like a few times in my lifetime.
So so I mean, my thing is that, like,
So
Not-
that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is that, like, it's more so that, like, I think that there's more things going behind the scenes about his health than we are privy to. And I think it's worrying him a lot more than he's ready to talk about.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're just sending out prayers to him.
Yeah, because as one would be, again, we've talked about how much being in the public eye probably fucks you up.
Absolutely.
And especially at a young age as
insinuate.
he was.
I was gonna
And then
say-
the constant, I mean, how do we feel about Hailey Bieber being constantly compared to Selena Gomez? It's like, that type of shit would kill me.
That would drive me crazy. I'd be like, if you bitches don't fucking shut up about this old ass relationship.
And then taking everything that Justin does in relation to Selena Gomez or
and
whatever.
Betty's
Oh, he
relationship
must
now.
feel like this. Oh, he had a crash out, so it must be because he just saw this Selena Gomez.
Yeah,
Like
it's
what
like-
literally I probably just said like 20 minutes ago. But like, I'm sure it's a lot.
Exhausting. Yeah, I can only imagine. So prayers out to Justin Bieber and his family. We had to talk about it. 'cause
Yeah,
it
if
was
I believed in
definitely-
God, prayers to you too.
Amen.
Amen.
A woman. Okay. All right. So actually, interestingly enough, a lot of people are worried about Justin, and they're actually, this is really a terrible joke to make, but people are trying to make the joke of like, we need to put him in a conservatorship or a guardianship, kind of similar to Britney Spears or Wendy Williams. So we know that Britney came out of her guardianship, but Wendy is very much still in hers.
She's in one?
Yes, Wendy Williams.
What happened to Wendy Williams? 'Cause
Girl.
I don't even know. I know she's off the air. I've seen some crazy shit, but what happened to Wendy Williams?
So basically what happened was about, I'm going to say a year or maybe 2 years
Right,
ago.
because it happened so fast, I feel like.
It
I feel like
did.
she was hosting her own show, and then one day it was like,
That is important to know.
it was
So
like
yes.
she's sick or something. And
Exactly.
I like don't.
So that's what happened. So actually, for some time, so a few years back when her show was still on air, there were times where like people were really worried about her health. And more specifically, like there was literally an incident where she like passed out. She fainted in the middle of the show. And then shortly after that was when we started seeing her take absences from the show. Because before it was like, she's the only host. She's always going to be here. You know,
Were
it is
other
what it is.
people hosting her show?
So there was a time where she was sick. She was away. So other people were hosting for her and, you know, trying to keep the show going on in her absence. So when that was starting to happen, people started getting worried, of course. And actually we found out soon after that she was actually put into a guardianship because apparently her bank, Wells Fargo, was worried about her mental state, and they were also worried about other people stealing money from her during this mental state. So there's been a lot of speculation because there's been like documentaries that have dropped about this.
Do we like the bank having that authority though to say that about somebody?
I never did, to be totally honest, and what I saw that recently dropped made me like it even less. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys something. So for the longest time, people are like, how did Wendy end up in the guardianship? I just told you guys there was fraudulent
Activity or whatever,
Thank you. There's fraudulent activity on her accounts.
Me every time I buy Class Pass. You haven't worked out in
Who is this?
854 days.
You sure? But yeah, like, so yes. So let me see if I can find it. Here we go. So what is interesting is that now it has allegedly been found that there was a letter that was put into the court system that triggered the guardianship. Okay. So do you want to see that? Do you want to see the mighty reveal of this letter?
What did the letter? I want to know what the letter said. I want to know who wrote this motherfucking letter.
Oh, that's a very good one. Okay. So I'll go ahead and give you a little quick synopsis.
Yes.
So there are new details that say that Wendy Williams' guardianship case revealed that a psychiatrist's letter allegedly played a key role in establishing her guardianship. Court records show that in 2022, before the guardianship was filed, Wendy's psychiatrist, Rami Kaminsky, wrote a letter to her financial advisor, Lori Schiller, Just keep note that the financial advisor is very important. The letter stated that Wendy, who had been his patient for over a year, appeared unable to make reasoned decisions, quote, reasoned decisions, end quote, with her insight and judgment described as, quote, severely impaired, end quote. A source close to the situation tells the Shade Room, shout out the Shade Room, that this letter submitted to Wells Fargo Bank was instrumental in the decision to establish guardianship, which stripped Wendy of her rights and isolated her from her loved ones. The source believes that the letter reflects a premeditated effort to undermine Wendy's independence. And now I'll go through like what it says, but it's a very short letter. Mm-hmm. So this will make sense when I say this quote. Quote, these two sentences from a doctor shouldn't be enough to take away someone's rights. Mm-hmm. This document should never have been shared with a financial advisor or a bank. End quote. This is what the source told the Shade Room. Now they end up the whole article saying that it was further revealed that the guardian, Sabrina Morrissey, so she is the one who's in charge of Wendy and her assets and all of that.
Who is this bitch?
Everyone always suspected, because everyone from the beginning of this whole case was that like, who the fuck is the guardian? Why is she appointed? Who appointed her? Everyone was under the inclination that Sabrina was well known within the court systems as a guardian, so that it was in fact the court that appointed her, right? Okay. Sabrina Morrissey was appointed from the start rather than being selected from a list of court-appointed guardians. As in, she was cherry-picked. She was always going to be the pick. Normally, you're supposed to have a list. You choose who you want from the list. There was no list.
How Sabrina was Wendy the list before. She didn't?
That's what they're trying to say. They're trying to say that like she was appointed by somebody else outside of the court, outside of Wendy.
Okay.
But that the court accepted the appointment.
Okay.
So they're saying that the source claims that when Wendy attempted to fire her financial advisor and manager, guardianship was used as a form of manipulation. They believe that the financial advisor and the manager worked together as the manager was later arrested for using Wendy's credit card without her permission. I say all of that before I even show you this motherfucking letter that stripped Wendy of all of her rights.
Show me the letter. Show us the letter. Allie, show us the letter.
I'm gonna show you the letter, babe. You ready?
Fuck, no, I'm not. It's gonna piss me off. Oh, it's so short. Okay, let me read it.
I told you it was two sentences.
So to somebody, Wells Fargo Bank, subject is Wendy Williams. Dear Miss, Miss Williams has been my patient for over a year now. Over the last 6 months, she has been unable to make reasoned decisions, and her insight and judgment are severely impaired. Sincerely,
the psychiatrist.
Okay, so one, I call bullshit. Whether, and here's. I have a lot to say.
Crazy.
I think that she's like, Kerr. She's like, so let me cut you off right there, bitch.
Isn't that crazy?
It's so fucked up. It's so beyond fucked up. I think conservatorships in general are fucked up. Because if it's not your fucking money, who fucking cares? I genuinely believe any money you've made or are making is yours. How is someone going to be like, oh, you've made $1 million in the past year, but now you can't decide? Who gives a fuck? Now, unless someone's trying to gain something from the use of your money.
So that is a
You know what I mean? Who cares if you spend $100,000 on fucking prostitutes or... Wait, that's illegal. Take that out.
Okay.
That's not what I meant.
I'm just gonna bleep it
Okay,
out.
I'm trying to think. I was like, maybe just leave it in at this point. I was like, that's not what I meant. I'm trying to think of something
But
else.
if you wanna spend $100,000
on, let's say, on like shoes, or
Yeah.
you wanted to buy a shit ton of weed or whatever, right? It's legal now. I can say that, right?
yeah, we're in Cali.
If you want to spend whatever the fuck amount of money you want to spend, you want to have parties, you want to like do this, you want to travel, you want to whatever, and somebody else is like, oh, I think something's wrong. I think that maybe my Nene can't decide what she should use her money on. Bitch, as if every other person in America that with credit card debt can decide what to spend their money on? Are you kidding me? That is the basis of our American society, right? Everyone has credit card debt. Everyone has school debt. They could argue that if someone under conservatorship, oh my God, she spent $500,000 in the last 4 years because she wanted to go to Harvard. She has to be mentally ill. Duh! Like, you know what I mean? You can argue that any type of purchase.
Yeah.
I just spent $400 buying clothes the other day, bitch.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? Why?
But
I don't know. But if someone was like, she's mentally ill based on this purchase, yes. Yes, the fuck I am, okay?
It's my fucking money.
But to control what someone is spending, like, I do not understand. I do not support.
Yeah.
I do not think that someone else should control the money that you have made or are making. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I agree.
It sounds like,
especially around a time like this when she was firing motherfuckers. It's like
personal
all
profit.
of a sudden they're allowed to now go behind her back and talk to her bank.
No.
Like that is wild. Imagine your boss coming to you and being like, look, I don't like the shit you've been up to.
Yeah.
I saw that you had some extra, activity on my credit card that I gave you for the business. I don't like that shit. And like I've told you before, I don't fuck with you anymore. I'm going to go ahead and like, I'm going to sever ties. Just know that your letter is coming. You know what I mean? I'm going to fire you soon. For that employee to then be like, you know what? Let me call up the bank. Let them know that there's something wrong with my boss. Tell them that he or she has a mental illness, that they have not been within their right mind. You know what? I'm going to call up her psychiatrist because I'm the one who pays that bill anyway. Like, I use her card to pay that bill. So, like, for real, he's cool with me. He doesn't really, like, he's not cool that much with her. So, I'm going to go ahead, call him up, have him also write a letter. Quick 2 sentences. You ain't got to do too much. Quick little, I don't think that she's in the right mind. Then I'm going to send that to the bank, too, and be like, look.
Because the bank also has to gain something from it at some point, right? Like,
that's what's also like, okay, yeah, I'm also like, yeah, what is the bank, like, how much are they making off of her having that money in these accounts? Because goddamn,
haven't you ever heard that, like, why people stopped putting their money in banks at one point in time?
Because, like, they're playing with your money for free.
Because they didn't have, they spend it, right? Or they would spend it and then they didn't have it in. So I don't remember. I think maybe during the Great Depression, maybe, don't quote me because I'm not sure. But then when people were trying to take money out, the banks didn't have it. They did not have it to give back to them. And so hence the keeping money in your mattress, keeping the money as yourself, because people don't trust banks, because that's what they do with your fucking money.
You know what? I also think that, that makes a lot of sense, because at the same time, who would be found liable if you let all these people run fraud all over my fucking account? They've now taken me out for $1 million, $5 million, who knows how much money that they were spending under her name. Now I'm going to go back to my bank and be like, bitch, fraud, send me my coin. Now who's out the money? The bank, not me.
So it seems like, again, it's like, but I think conservatorships are pretty much bullshit.
They're very messy.
Again, with like mental health, with stuff that's going on with everybody, it's like, I understand people who want to help and say like, oh, well, I'm gonna, especially in like the very later stages in life. I know with my grandpa, it's like at the end of his life, like my aunt has control of the very little money that he's had, you know what I mean? And it's like, I can understand you trying to help out with the financial situation or make sure that they're not sending shit to people on Facebook or whatever, giving out their information or whatever. But with celebrities and how much money they make, it is almost always the targets of like people trying to just manipulate them, and then like scams, right? Like scams. Like I feel like that is what it is, and it's really hard for me to back any type of conservatorship because it's like on who again, it's like one of the things that I was talking about earlier. Who's profiting from this? Who's profiting from this person being not being able to spend their money, not being able to make any financial decisions on money that they've worked hard to make?
Yes, because you could easily just gift yourself and be like, well, you know what, I've been doing such a great job of taking care of you and your finances. I'm gonna go ahead and gift myself a new jet
because
ski.
Does this stuff happen
with my money?
With normal people? Does this stuff happen with middle class? Does this
not
happen?
That I know of. I've
never heard of anybody doing that. Like I haven't.
Me neither.
And so it's like it happens to people with huge amounts of money, and then the Britney Spears stuff just makes you it fucks you up because people do take advantage of other people that are in that are of higher status and have more money. And it's so fucked because if they are going through something mentally, emotionally, physically, if somebody is going through anything, people take advantage.
Yeah, it's almost like perfect timing. Now I can really.
And they jump and they steal
kick
from
you off your own fucking bank account.
Exactly. What? And it's so fucked up. It's so fucked up.
It is. And you know what? Another thing that I think was unfair about the whole telling of this story about Wendy and this guardianship is also like the pointing of fingers, because I feel like it's crazy that it took so long for us all now to find the lower layers of like, oh, Sabrina was appointed not by the court, by somebody else, more than likely, allegedly, you know, I'm just throwing that out there, allegedly could have been appointed by the financial advisor and the manager that was being fired so that they would have a back door back into the accounts just in case. Like, through all of that, to be honest, they had it blamed a few other people, and including her son. Now, don't get me wrong. It sounds like Wendy is in somewhat agreement with the fact that her son apparently was dibble-dabbling in her accounts. Like, he was like I'm talking about honestly, really bad though, Nat. Like, I'm talking like Nat. Like, she gave him a budget apparently of something like okay, was like. It was something like, to us it's small, but to her it's like, that's a little some. It was something like, your budget is like $10,000 for you and your friends to rent out a yacht or a boat or whatever and go crazy for a party.
Yeah, to us that's so small.
You're right. You know, but
you meant it the other way. Yeah.
Sorry. To us that's huge. That's huge. Yeah.
Just 10,000
only.
Child neglect.
Yeah, seriously. Who doesn't give their kids that on a shopping spree? But yeah, so basically, sorry. So yeah, so to her it's a big, you know, to her it's not a big deal. To us it is. But you know, so she basically told him like something like along those lines. It was something to her she thought was reasonable of like 10,000, maybe 20,000 to 25,000. Like, you have a little bit of a budget, okay? And it ain't no like peanuts. It's like you can do a little something with that budget. Girl, tell me why he was supposed to go rent this boat for a little bit. Girl, he turned around and rented or bought or something like that. Rented or bought something for $100,000.
Yeah, and that's when it's like, I feel like it was like, yeah, but then that's when we have to go in and really think, though, is that type of somebody taking advantage of someone else? Like, is that something where the government or somebody else should be able to get involved on our behalf? Like, again, it's really something that I think we have to think about, and I do think it should be on a case-by-case basis, but it's also, I think it should be led by somebody who is close to the person that, I mean, and then again, it's like family can also have ulterior motives. Staff can have ulterior motives. Staff could be the ones that actually care about the person, and family could be the ones who don't. So it's such murky waters. But at the same time, I don't think that the son abusing the mom's money is enough for them to cut her off
of her own
from
funds.
her money.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
Totally
I
agree.
feel like there could be 1,000 other avenues that they could take to protect her from her son stealing her. And again, whose fucking business is it? Really? I'm very much just like, it's your own fucking business. If she's gonna allow, because how many
the way
of
that
us,
she presents it is very much like that in terms of like, don't get me wrong, she agrees that she knows that what her son was doing was wrong.
her son's probably a fucking asshole. But at the same time, it's like,
and she kind of even says, she's like, you know, he really
took advantage, because that's what kids fucking do. Is they take advantage of their parents. Like, that's what happens for the most part.
Yeah, but she also, I think that it seems as though her other sentiment is also like, that's my kid. So things that I'll allow him to do as opposed to someone I hired, someone that I put in a position to be an adult to act accordingly, I won't tolerate.
Yeah.
So I agree. Now, one other thing though, I will say there was a documentary, a Lifetime documentary that came out, and at the time, this is what I truly, truly believe, guys, and this is, again, allegedly, I'm going to throw that out there because I don't want anyone to be like, oh, this is for sure what happened. Honestly, between me and you guys, I really do believe that, like, Wendy, I think that Wendy was drinking so much that she was not in her right mind. As in, like, you know, when you're drinking, like, you don't know what's really, really going on, you know, days combined to each other. And also, I believe that the situation, like the amount of liquor that Wendy was apparently consuming, people thought that she was having, like, dementia. That's how bad her memory was. But, I mean, it's like, if you drink enough, your memory will be shot. Like, you don't remember half the shit that's going on. You know what I mean? When you're inebriated, all that kind of stuff. And, like, in the documentary, you see her just asking everyone, like, you know, can you give me some liquor? Can you give me some liquor? And they're all like, no, we don't need to give you no liquor. So I do understand the psychiatrist being like, something is off with Wendy. Do I believe that we need to now cut her off from her money? No. Do we need to check her into rehab? Okay. But the one that they have her checked into right now it's very confusing, because they're trying to say from the rehab and from the guardianship's perspective is like, Wendy can leave whenever she wants. She can have people come over, have visitors whenever she wants. However, it's also like, is that really the truth? Because recently she tried to leave. She actually did end up leaving. I think she left with like her cousin or her niece, something like that. Like they went out to go get dinner and watch a movie or whatever. Why is it in the headlines that the rehab facility is saying that she just sprung loose, that she just ran, we can't find her, she's not supposed to leave her floor, and instead she just left. And so now
like
it's
prison.
like, wait, yeah. So it's like, which one is it? And then there's actually a journalist from Breakfast Club. We talked about it. Lauren LaRosa. She be getting on the shit. So she actually is cool with Wendy, and she went up there because Wendy was like, yeah, you can come by whenever. We can talk about it. I don't care.
Yeah.
She went up to the rehab facility to go talk to Wendy. The facility was like, girl, no, you're not allowed to come. And she's like, wait a minute, but you guys are telling everyone you can come whatever. If she says it's cool with us. But Lauren went up there to go talk to her, and it was like,
yeah,
absolutely not.
I don't know. I don't.
It's weird
Until I see like a solid case against it. I just don't. I don't agree with fucking with somebody's hard-earned money or whatever, and whatever they choose to do. And people are adults, and again, it's like you don't see this happening with middle class, lower class people.
Not that we hear.
So it's like
Not
you see this
don't.
happening with celebrities, and it's fucked up.
Yeah.
And I just don't. I don't fuck with it.
I agree. I 1,000% agree. So yeah, we'll see what happens next with, you know,
Yeah.
the queen of daytime television. We'll see what happens with her. But yeah, that's just sad. That's sad to see. Okay, so on lighter news, I mean, I guess we could probably wrap because we've been going so long, guys. We've been talking so much.
I know.
I guess we can probably do all this other stuff later. I mean, the only one thing, I guess, to end things on a lighter note, is did anybody see like the Ciara challenge of her on the chair in her new music video?
I have no idea what you're fucking talking about.
Okay,
so I would love to see what you're talking about.
Okay.
I'm sure you'll find a way
Ciara.
to cut this all down too.
Yeah.
If you cut the last one.
Right. I don't care. I actually really I feel like we're clicking.
I feel like we're having a fun time. How do you guys feel? Write it in the comments. Chat, how do you feel?
Right. Tell us, chat.
Chat,
What's
you're having the best time of your life.
Yeah.
Great. Oh, they love your hair. She is black. I told you guys. She's mixed.
Period. No, seriously. It's not the best. It's like such a grainy fucking video.
Is that what it is?
But this is basically her. Okay, wait. Before we get into the challenges. Okay, so
wait, scream apart first one.
Yeah. So basically the caption is, Ciara's new folding chair dance move has gone viral, inspiring everyone to grab their own prop, flex their core strength, and slay in ecstasy. I guess the song is called Ecstasy. So let me see if I can find you a better, less grainy version of what she is doing. It is pretty crazy though. There we go. Okay, bro.
Wanna watch something?
No, we don't gotta watch the whole thing. Just real quick. Woo! She is fine as hell. This was fire. I got chills. I was like, whoo!
She's so fine, dude.
Yo, and her core strength. I mean, like, this girl has not missed a beat.
Do you remember when growing up people told us that she had a penis? Do you remember that?
Yes, which I still don't understand why.
It's not like, who the fuck made that up?
Fucking
fuck?
Okay. So it sparked this trend where everyone wants to now try and do her fucking dance move. But this shit is a lot harder than people think. Okay? That shit is hard. But
it looks easy.
It seems, but I don't know. To me, it seems hard. But at the same time, that I just feel like where it is, it's just gonna hurt. You're right.
Just like, I wish we had a chair we could try it on.
Oh my god, this shit would be comical. It would just be straight comedy. Okay, all right. Let's see. This is the first video I ever saw of anybody else doing it, and thought it was hilarious. I love that it happens to be the same video that we're all watching together. Oh wait. The volume. There we go. Grandma. There was another angle of when she first gets onto it. She's doing pretty good. This angle does not give it justice. If you go to the other angle, she's actually doing a really fucking good job. And the whole time I'm like, she's gonna flip this goddamn chair, and this is gonna be absolute chaos. But
yeah,
no,
it also helps if you don't have a gut, if you're super toned, if you fucking like.
But grandma had a little bit of grandma.
Yeah, you thought she was dipping. As one would.
Yes, one
with a normal body.
Yeah,
not everyone can have a fucking Ciara body. Are you kidding me?
I'm also like, wouldn't it be crazy if we find out later it's like CGI? She's not actually. Don't get me wrong. I know
Ciara and Tiana Taylor both do their own stunts.
True that. That's very true. But yeah, dude, that shit was hilarious. That everyone's trying to do that. Not for everybody though. Not for everybody. No. But I thought that was interesting.
That's
I've been
so fun,
seeing that going viral, and I just thought we had to.
If you're listening on podcasts or Apple Music, make sure to
Go check out the video.
Watch the end of the YouTube on YouTube, and you'll see what we see. Really.
Yes. Because I don't even know how to say it. She's not straddling anything. She's actually planking the chair in a way.
Yeah, she's definitely planking the chair. Which doesn't seem that hard. You just have to like
lean on the front of it, yeah.
And then keep your legs up.
Yes. You just have to make sure that core is like
I've been doing Pilates lately, and my core is not there. So I see it, and I'm like, look, CZ. Realistically, I know I probably wouldn't be able to.
So yeah, maybe we'll circle back to it when we get a few more classes under our belt. But yo, I feel like the grandma gave me hope though.
I might have to buy some pull-out chairs.
Yo, seriously, I was like, the
for
amount
a 5-second
of sales that are about to soar for all the fucking lawn chairs out there, the foldable chairs are about to be ridiculous.
OnlyFans that's only doing that on different types of chairs.
Yo, someone's crazy ass might buy it. I wouldn't doubt it.
We've had worse.
We have had worse. All right. We have. True story. All right, so I think that's everything. I feel like we'll save this one for later. You want me to save that one for later?
Yeah.
Guys, that is our podcast. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you didn't,
fuck off, bitch. Fuck all the way off.
I almost said go in the comments, but then I was like, don't do that if you don't want to get ripped to
fuck
shreds.
yourself off, because we know that you don't get any.
You don't. But
those of you who do get some, but those of you that can get pussy and dick, we love you.
We love you so much. Seriously.
Thanks for coming. Stop by next week.
Yes, period. Shout out to everybody who's been watching. We love you guys supporting us. We appreciate it. Seriously, we do want to hear from you guys. Just don't like take anything too personal. We're fucking around. We're not like sending shots at anyone individually. If it happens to graze
if the shoe fits, wear it, bitch, whatever.
Yeah. If it happens to graze you.
If it makes you mad,
it's
maybe
friendly fire.
Retrospect. Maybe look inward, okay?
For sure.
Jesus. If it makes you mad, go get therapy.
Hello. Respect to the law, respect to the law. Respect to Allah. I'm fucking around. Okay, anywho. I'm just fucking around. We're gonna see you guys on the next one. Hopefully you guys have been checking out the other videos if you haven't.
Yeah, watch us play some games where that's also super fun.
It is.
For everybody involved.
It truly is.
Yeah.
It's way less political. So you'll like it so much more. Okay? So, anyhow, we'll see you guys on the next one. See you later, hoochies. Bye.